So those accommodations are, they're legally binding and you have to follow them. When it says at teacher's discretion or at student request, then, you know, those things are not things that have to be done every single time unless the teacher feels like it's absolutely necessary or the student asks for it. But you should definitely make sure that the student knows that those things are available to them. Now, we have some lovely, precious, adorable students that say, I don't want to be read to. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not. Don't read to me. Okay, so when that happens, you just document that you offered oral administration and go on without your business, about your business, not without your business. And just document it. Maybe it's just a weird day. Maybe it becomes a habit. You know, it's consistent over a week or two. Or, you know, 2 or 3 times in a row. If that happens and that, you know, you've documented the student is denying this accommodation, then you need to go to his case manager or me or principal and say, this accommodation is not getting done because the student refuses it. So we just need to do an amendment or come back to R, discuss with parents about changing that accommodation because it has to be changed in a meeting. We can't just say, oh yeah, he doesn't need that. We're not going to do it. That is not we can't do that. None of us. We can't just go, oh, I don't really think he needs oral admin. We're not going to do that today. That's not okay. If it's in the document, you have to do it. So please don't come in and ARD and when I go through the accommodations, go, oh yeah, we never do that one. I'm going to give you the look and I'm going to breathe. And hope that that doesn't happen again. Don't say that in an ARD, please. Mainly, don't say it because it shouldn't be true. If something's not happening, then we need to come back to ARD and discuss why that accommodation is not appropriate for the student. So, okay, enough about that. I could talk all day on accommodations. And I'm kind of a nerd, so I have tons of resources on why we do certain accommodations. Copy of notes. Look, I gotta go here. Copy of notes before instruction. Okay, I know that teachers, I was a teacher, teachers like for you to be busy. We want you to be busy writing things down from the board so that you're not bugging your neighbor or sitting there like, I don't have to do anything because my IEP says so. No. Okay, we want the kid busy. We want the kid paying attention. So, we also have students that may have slow processing speed or low short-term working memory. And taking notes while listening and trying to learn is just not effective. It's not going to work for them. They're not going to learn that way. They're just not. So we're not expecting them to. Okay? So if we give you an accommodation that says, give class notes prior to instruction, give them. And do not require that student to write anything. Do not. You may encourage them to get out a highlighter or colored pencil or something and say, you know, you may just want to highlight some key points. This would be a good thing to highlight. Like you can say that in your instruction, like this would be a really good thing to highlight. This is super important. And not call a kid out, but just, you know, kind of emphasize the importance. If a student who gets notes before instruction, and I know that there's a lot of them because we have a lot of kids with slow processing and a lot of kids with low short-term working memory. So it's important that they get those notes. If they're not paying attention or if they're, you know, being a stinker because they think they're special and get notes and nobody else and they don't have to write anything and then that becomes, you know, a different issue that we can deal with. So just let us know, and we can follow through with that. But don't give them notes and then go, okay, you also have to write them. No, that's the point. We don't want them to write them. Okay, moving on. After the services, scheduled services is least restrictive environment, we want our students in with their gen ed peers as much as possible while still meeting their needs. So it just kind of explains what we do for them and why they are where they are. Assurances and transition, all of that good stuff. Once they get 13 or over, we start doing some transition work where we talk about, we actually pull them in and discuss things like, what are you going to do when you graduate from high school? And what do you want to do with your life? And how are you going to make money? And that kind of thing. So those are super interesting. I actually like to read those. And so then there's assurances. If you've never read the assurances, you should read them. Just so you know, like, what is being promised to parents. Kind of important. But you really don't have to read them once or twice to really understand what they're saying. And then the signature pages, so you can see who was in the meeting. If you have any questions and you're like, no, I disagree, go talk to one of those people. And what else? Oh, deliberations. Super important. Super important. Okay. Sometimes deliberations are just kind of a, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. Sounds a little boring. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes I outline like the total discussion that we had about this kid's medicine and how he's melting down at home and how teachers can help at school. Important to know, because deliberations are also part of the legal document that we must follow. So please read the deliberations. I don't write things that aren't necessary, because that's just annoying. And I don't really want to do things that I don't have to do. And I don't want to make you read things that you don't have to read. So read the deliberations. And that's how you read an IEP in under 12 minutes. And if you have questions, always come to me. I'm in the water heater closet, room 733.